And finally, the form still doesn't look like anything. MessageForm.css here. We have a bit of stuff here. Yep, there's a pseudo class. Gonna need to use Aphrodite. No big deal. Let's have a look at MessageForm. So we're going to need Aphrodite. So I will import both style sheet and CSS from Aphrodite. So down here I'm going to have const styles equals style sheet dot create with an object as an argument. And what do we have here? Here's MessageForm itself. So MessageForm the chat icon in there, which isn't in there yet, but I'll just say icon. The input gets some style, comma, input. It gets some extra style when it's being focused. So just like with hover, inside the input rule, I'll just add :focus. And then the button has some styles. Button. There we go. All right. Let's get rid of my semicolons. I will do a rule at a time, so if I have a stray click, I won't ruin it all. Semicolons become commas. My values get quoted. Quote. Quote. Capital C, capital I, capital R, capital R, capital I, capital C, capital S, capital S, capital S, capital C, capital L, capital R, capital T, R, R, capital B, capital R, capital R. Okay, I don't have errors, so I didn't get any parsing errors doing that at least. Here's my stylesheet.create real quick. If you're keeping up. There that is in Slack. Now I need to apply all of it. So I had message form, icon, input, and button. So I think the markup was probably a little different here. Let's see what we got. Static HTML. Bunch of messages. Here's the form. Okay, so I had an icon inside there. That's missing. I just go right on with the input. So let's add this little bit of markup. That, of course, has a class where it should have class name. No biggie. Okay, then the input, then the submit button. And inside the submit button, I had another icon, which again needs a class name instead of a class. I have a title on there, send, so if for some reason the paper plane doesn't load, the word send will appear. Now then, since we're using Aphrodite, this all goes inside class name. For the component itself, I do like to have that class there, MessageForm. So for that one, I will put class name equals curly brace and then put a template inside it. So MessageForm space and then string interpolation with a $sign. That CSS helper function, and just give it that style object styles.messageForm to get that auto-generated class name. For the rest, I don't need the classes that are already there. So for the div, instead of icon, I'll say CSS styles.icon. And the input doesn't have a class name yet. I'll throw one on there. Class name equals curly brace CSS parentheses styles.input. The button doesn't have a class name yet. Throw one on there. Class name equals curly brace that CSS helper function styles.button. Behold, what a beautiful form. All right, we did it. So here it is in Slack. So again, lots of ways you can add CSS to JavaScript. Aphrodite is one of them. I think it's not too bad as far as ease of use goes once you're familiar with CSS and stuff. But if CSS is completely new to you, of course, that's a lot of concepts coming at you at once. But one thing I like about the whole CSS in JavaScript thing, even though you can't use exactly the same syntax, in something like React Native, you have to do CSS in JavaScript. You can't use actual style sheets. So if you're making a native version of the same thing, you can reuse some of your code if you do it this way. Plus, you just don't have to retrain your brain every time you jump between the two code bases. So, nice looking form. Style, MessageForm. There it is.